Hello and welcome to your nightly news. I'm your host, Nicole van Buren. Today, we have a devastating story to bring to you about the flooding in Puerto Rico. Our reporters, Patsy and Courtney, are on the scene today in Ponce, Puerto Rico. The rain began on October 5th, 1985, and has continued for the past 3 days. The flooding and landslides began on October 6th and 7th. Now we will ask our reporters a few questions. How much rain have you gotten, and where did it all come from?
Well, Nicole, thanks for asking. Puerto Rico received over 25 inches of precipitation. Formation of a low-pressure system caused air to rise and wind to blow in towards those low-pressure systems, causing condensation of water and higher levels of precipitation. Tropical depressions also happen when low air pressure and storms combine to make winds blow in a circular pattern, almost like a cyclone.
Wow! That sounds tremendous! How often do floods of this size happen in Puerto Rico, and what was the geographic impact?
Thank you, Nicole. The flood reoccurrence for this was every 15 years. About 7,220 square kilometers were affected by the 1985 floods alone. These floods lasted for about 3 days with a magnitude of 0.4. There is a possibility that extreme anthropogenic impacts could have caused humidity and therefore increased the likelihood of these low-pressure systems building. Other potential factors that could increase the frequency and magnitude are the clear-cutting of land for agricultural uses, which would have caused erosion of the land as the floodwaters swept through.
What does this mean for the people of Puerto Rico, and how much damage was done to the area?
Unfortunately, this is going to hit the community of Puerto Rico financially very hard. $125 million of property damage, both private and public. 3,000 homes have been damaged and 1,300 have been completely destroyed.
To add to that, 40 people died from the flooding alone, not including later secondary disasters or landslides caused by flooding erosion. Also, the bridge on Las Americas Expressway collapsed, sending many vehicles plunging into the water and killing at least 24 people. Many of the other island bridges were also destroyed, and 16 of the island's major cities lost access to drinking water. According to another news site, the Mamey's landslide destroyed about 90 homes, causing the death of around 130 people.
Here are what some people have to say about the tragedy. It was horrible. The water came through and it took my father, my mother, my 4 brothers, and my niece.
Landslide occurred while people were asleep, so lots of people were crushed while they were sleeping in their homes.
Puerto Rico has since taken several preventative steps to stop any future damage from floods and landslides. The community of Rios Cerrillos, for example, had constructed an artificial flood channel at the time of the 1985 floods, which helped to divert most of the floodwater from severely eroded lands that would have otherwise destroyed the community. There were several unnecessary fatalities due to either a complete lack or an inadequacy in flood control devices, as seen in the city of Ponce and the collapse of several island bridges. This disaster also highlighted regions of high landslide susceptibility and led to the institution of several new architectural styles, such as the removal of wooden houses and the introduction of stone houses with no stilts.
The people of the Mamey's landslide were relocated to more stable ground, while their old neighborhoods were converted into memorials and parks. In response to this natural disaster, some of the architectural techniques in Puerto Rico were shifted so they could be better prepared if this happened again. Their normally wooden structures were changed to more solid stone ones as a better response to these natural disasters.
Thank you, Patsy and Courtney. And thank you to the audience at home for listening in to your nightly news.